Welcome into Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here with Lee Smith.
What's up?
We're going to have a special appearance from Ellie tonight. I'm forcing her to come on because she loves Mizzou. So once we start talking about Mizzou and Georgia, Lee's going to do a little outie and Ellie's going to come on in, or Ellie's just going to join me, and we're going to be
Grand entrance.
Yeah. So just a warning of what's to come on Thursday. I was going to say Wednesday. On Thursday, November 2nd. I know, Lee. We are very, very close to the weekend, a weekend full of football. Let's get started with the Falcons getting ready for the Vikings. Lee, you were at practice yesterday. I know that, and there was a bunch of drama given the fact that there's a quarterback change. Yeah. But let's just run through that really quickly. How are your feelings heading into that game? 4-4, number one in the division for the Falcons. But really, that's such a weak division that I don't even look into that.
Well, and especially for this Sunday, since there's no Kirk Cousins for the Vikings. So there you go. I think the favor's got to be in Atlanta's favor playing at home. So, it's looking good for this particular Sunday, I believe. But it seems that the players in the locker room yesterday were pretty. I'm not gonna say happy, but like they understand what's going on. They all said, "Look, this is the NFL. You know, next man up. If you can't get it done, next man up." And we got all the confidence in the world in Taylor. We've played with him since start of training camp, since April, May. So this isn't like anything that's really new. Of course, game time it is for him, playing with, getting on the same page with all the receivers and everything. But like, they just said it wasn't that huge of a deal. Kind of downplayed it a little bit, But anytime there's a new signal caller in there, you got to believe it's going to be a transition period. But hey, they look good the second half against last Sunday. So
scoring drives. We got scoring drives from Taylor Heineke, while we didn't get that from Desmond Ritter.
Well, you got a lot of fumbles though.
Wait,
but yeah,
from who?
So no, I think
from Heineke?
No, from Desmond Ritter.
Yeah. I said scoring drives.
I know. I said
Heineke,
you got a lot of fumble drives from.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be good for this week, and then look, at this point they have to take it week to week, and you can't look ahead, and that's really, really true for them right now. Because
you want to know who you just sounded like? Kirby.
Every head coach
you can't
ever.
Look ahead.
Every head coach.
I mean, that's him.
Yeah.
Be elite.
Well, hey, Kirby's doing something right, so maybe
Kirby is doing something right.
Maybe everybody can learn something from the guy.
Oh Lord! Wait, who's learning from who here?
I'm just saying.
Arthur Smith learning from Kirby Smart. I think a lot of coaches could learn from Kirby, but NFL to college is a different game.
Yeah, huge thing.
I think, if you ask me, this kind of gives the Falcons, in my opinion, a quote-unquote fresh start. You kind of get to start with a new guy that you've been with for weeks now, and give you a chance to win, right? I'm not saying Desmond didn't, but we saw enough of Desmond, in my opinion, to know that he is hot and cold. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you want consistency from your quarterback. Taylor, I don't know if Heineke will give that to them. We'll soon find out. But I will say what he does give the Falcons, and what Desmond does not give the Falcons, and that's experience. So for me, it comes down to the fact that Heineke has done this before, and sure, he's basically like a journeyman through the NFL. This is his 9th season. He's never truly held a starting gig at any one place.
Well, he did for one season.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 3 or 4 years in one place. That just really hasn't happened for him. He's basically been a backup his whole life, or in this situation that we are about to witness with the Falcons, where he's come in and
who better suited than this guy right now?
Right. So I would call him a journeyman, and he has been able to win some big games in this exact scenario. And that's what the Falcons need right now. They need a spark on offense. They need to be able to have somebody to lead the offense. And I think they lack a little bit of confidence right now, the offense, given the fact that you can't fully trust Desmond Ritter when he goes on the field. You just don't know what he's going to do. I do know what he is going to do, and that's turn the ball over. and to me, I don't like that if I'm a player, because I don't have confidence in you. No matter what players tell you, they've seen enough now to know that Ritter turns the ball over, and that's never a good feeling.
I still think he has potential, though.
I'm not saying he doesn't. It's just for right now, this is...
Because there are a couple throws he made that I really was wowed by. And then, obviously, the other side is a couple of plays where I was like, what's he seeing? I have no idea.
Young quarterback. Okay, so
yeah.
that's understandable.
I mean,
again,
here's the thing. Heineke in 2021 with the Commanders, almost 3,500 yards. 20 touchdowns, 15 picks. Not great.
not good
But
by any
you're-
stretch of the imagination.
But you're not costing your team wins. So that's, I don't know. I mean, it's not great, the spot they're in with the quarterback situation, but
it is what it is. Like, here we are. My surprise, Lee, was the fact that Arthur actually did pull the plug.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that he keeps saying, like, for this week. So
Yeah.
he's not just like, hey, I named Heineke the starting quarterback.
not like fully
and
committed.
period.
Long
He's
term.
like, yeah, for this week, Heineke's going to come on in, QB1. And you're like, wait a minute. So am I supposed to read between the lines here? Are you just going to have us on our toes every single week from here on out? Every Wednesdays, during the press conference, are you going to tell us who's starting? Is next week going to be Desmond Ridder? I mean, and he keeps like kind of like hinting or saying it's the circumstances of what they went through on Sunday with the quarterback. Having gone into the concussion protocols, but clearing them. We will have sound for you later from Jerry Gray from the Falcons, Jerry Gray. But for right now, I don't know. Do you like him against the Vikings?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure is Justin Jefferson still hurt. I think he's out and Kirk Cousins are out. So if they're both out, I really do like them.
Yeah, and
because I look, the Falcons defense is going to play lights out. I mean, they're good.
Well, I don't know. Without Grady Jarrett, they didn't look very good last week, Lee. I'm not saying he's the end-all, be-all, but he is a big part of, like, the heart and soul and being able
for sure.
to – I'm sure he's one of the smartest guys on the team.
Look,
He's been in the system the longest.
even without Grady, I still have more confidence in the defense and the offense.
Yeah, and playing at home has been pretty sweet for the Falcons this season. So 1 o'clock kick from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll be there, so we'll have that for you on Sunday, and we'll continue to talk about this matchup until it actually happens. Moving along to the Dawgs taking on Mizzou. This is when Miss Ellie is going to come on through here in just a second. Lee, what's your take before we hear what Ellie has to say? And Ellie's all Mizzou all day. She's ready to talk about her Tigers. She's marching over here. Lee, how do you feel about the game? We'll both be there covering it. So your breakdown is what?
So, all right. So, first of all, it's what is it? A 2 versus 12 now? Yeah.
Is
2
Mizzou
versus
12?
Yeah, Mizzou's 12. Which, by the way, Georgia not being number 1, that's insane, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, no, 2 versus 12. Combined 15-1 on both these teams. So yeah, should be a good matchup. Missouri's looked like a really good team so far. Have they played anybody at Georgia's caliber? No, but
what do you mean? They've all basically played the same teams, Lee.
No, I know, but I'm saying they haven't played an opponent like Georgia.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute.
Not that they haven't played common opponents.
Yes,
they have,
yes.
but Georgia is a whole different ballgame than all the other teams they've faced. So I don't know. I still think it's going to be a huge day for Ladd McConkey, and even without Brock Bowers, Carson Beck's going to be able to find people open. Sanford should be pretty electric at 3:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, come on in, Ellie. Let's hear what you have to say. Let me get this name switch in here real quick before Lee comes back.
Oh God, we're switching the names.
All right, here we are. We're official up in here. All right, Ellie. So let the people know you've been a Mizzou fan for how long?
So my bona fides are I graduated from the Missouri School of Journalism.
Okay.
And to set the expectations.
Yeah.
I think Georgia wins the game.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just to set the expectations at this point.
I respect that. But I feel like you were like speaking a little differently earlier in the week, in the last few weeks.
I mean, I've been saying that Mizzou can win this game. I am not saying like dear Scott Pennyman over here that Georgia's going to smack Mizzou around. No, I think this is going to be a very close game, and I think that Mizzou can win because this Tigers team over and over again this season has shown that they have the ability to win games they shouldn't. Middle Tennessee, Kansas State, Kentucky, they've always won the games that they shouldn't. So yes, there's a much higher chance than people are giving Mizzou that they win this game because of the high-powered offense and the very good defense. I think the gap between the two is much closer than people think because Georgia has not been the number one team in the country. I'm not sorry.
Okay. I love that. So, because I was going to ask you, what made you think that they could beat the Dogs? You answered that question for me. I'm sure you'll be watching every down starting 3:30 on Atlanta News First, Saturday afternoon. I expect the Dogs to win this one. They're at home. They haven't lost at home in a while. Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. The last time they lost at home was against South Carolina in 2019. Jake Fromm was the quarterback there. I think that's the last time that they lost at home.
And
yeah.
I do,
yeah.
and I did see this statistic that the number one team in the AP poll has not lost at home in the CFP era.
Well, that's a heck of a stat.
Yeah.
I think Mizzou can. I think this is a one-score game.
Oh,
and
so it's going to be a good one.
Yes, and I think that Mizzou, as I said, has this ability to pull out the games that they shouldn't. Partially, it's because they let the games get away from them. Mm-hmm. And Georgia's offense is certainly good enough to go off on the Tigers. But the Dogs have scored 40 points a game so far. The Tigers have scored 33. That's one score.
Yeah.
That's, one score hanging in the
that
balance.
Is one score.
And, when it's that close, it's like, one interception or one lucky play can turn the tide of the game. And Brady Cook has been going off. He is top 5 in passing yards in the SEC. Luther Burden III is in the top 5. You've got Cody Schrader, who's in the top 5 in rushing. Brady Cook has these options that Carson Beck, yes, he's got options. He doesn't have Brock Bowers.
Yeah, so, Georgia's offense has been banged up most of the season, and, obviously Brock Bowers is only going to be out now 2, games in a row. But, the running backs, that room has been very thin all season. We haven't, seen the biggest production from the wide receivers because, again, injuries, but Ladd McConkey looked very healthy against Florida. So, Lee mentioned it. I do believe that game will rest on Ladd McConkey's health and how much Carson and him can have chemistry, for a second straight week because Lovett and Rah-Rah, as much as they contribute to the offense, they both only have 1 touchdown each, which is wild to think about. Like 2 touchdowns from those 2 big transfers out of Mississippi State and Mizzou. But you would think Lovett possibly might really want this win because he left Mizzou to come to Georgia. But still, I want to see more production from them in the end zone. But running back wise, Dejon Edwards has played beautifully. But yeah, so Ellie, before Lee comes back in, you do predict the Dogs will win, but you think Mizzou has the ability to pull it off, 1-score game.
I give it 38-31 Georgia, but only like a 7 in 10 chance that they win this game.
Okay, I love it.
I think it's a 1-score game, and I think the Tigers can definitely pull it off.
All right, thank you. I love it. Lee, come on back in because the next subject has everything to do with you. All right, now that we've gone through the East, and I say that because I do believe whoever wins the game on Saturday will win the East. I mean, Georgia can't clinch it until Ole Miss next weekend.
Right.
But if they you have to beat Mizzou to win the East because if Mizzou beats you, then Mizzou has a tiebreaker. So we'll see what happens there, but the West will more than likely be decided that night in Tuscaloosa. You got Alabama, Lee's Roll Tide.
Lee's Roll Tide. That's actually how it has been branded forever. Lee's
I
Roll
love
Tide.
that we just had Ellie on, those are her Tigers, and then we've got you on. This Alabama team is your team, facing LSU.
Well,
and
they're not my team. They're Nick Saban's team.
Yeah, you always like to say you contributed
I'm just an enthusiast.
half of your dinero to that school. So
yes.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Right. So, let's call it what it is.
All right, I appreciate that.
How are you feeling entering the game? So at 3:30 you got Mizzou at Georgia, and then at 7:45 right after, there might be a little post-game show in between. You got LSU at Alabama. I certainly feel good that for you, Lee, because they are at home, but you don't always feel that way.
No, I don't. Not with LSU, at least not this LSU team, especially since they're coming off a win from last year against Alabama. That was a little bit different. They were down there at LSU, and it was a little insane environment, which it always is. And they had Bryce Young last year, and they still had Will Anderson last year, but they couldn't get it done because they were literally like the most undisciplined team ever. But now it looks like it's a little bit different of a the tides might have turned a little bit. Yeah. Little dad joke there.
Thank you, Dad.
Appreciate that. Jaden Daniels, though, is he's just, him and Malik Neighbors have some special connection. So it's going to be hard for the defense. I mean, honestly, because I think
Alabama's defense?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Alabama's defense to stop Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. I still have confidence in the defense, though.
Me too.
They've done a heck of a job.
They've improved
Heck of a
significantly.
job, especially coming off bye week, and then so they're getting rested up, and then giving up 0 points to Tennessee, their last contest in the second half.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That was big.
It was awesome.
That was big.
So I think that's going to do a lot for their confidence. They know they can stop a high-potent offense, but the other, flip side is that Jaden Daniels is better than Joe Milton, and Malik Neighbors is better than, what's the guy, Squirrel? What's Squirrel's name? Wide receiver from Tennessee? I can't remember. That's all right.
I was going to say, Brett's right there.
That's all right. But yeah, so it's going to be a whole different ball game, but it's better that they're playing at home. Jalen Milroe has truly impressed me. He's gotten better every game.
Yep.
And the defense is doing nothing but getting better, so I think that'd be advantage Alabama. And it's really, really, really tough to beat Saban twice in a row. I don't think it's ever happened. I think it's Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze has done it when he was at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I don't think Gus Malzahn ever did it at Auburn.
Well, that's all right.
No, I think that's really it.
Now Hugh Freeze can do it at Auburn. What are those chances, Lee?
I know, right?
Now Hugh Freeze can literally do it at Auburn.
No, he can't. He can't.
So you're feeling good about it. Let's move on to the Rangers winning the World Series, the most boringest, and I don't know, that's not even a word, boringest World Series to me.
Come on.
I love that it's two new guys. Like, I loved it. I'm not a hater.
Did you? Because you don't sound like you did.
I'm not about it should have been Braves in LA or whatever. No, I just found it boring because I could not. To me, there was no single big name, huge name athlete playing. I think you and I talked about that, Lee.
No.
I think I asked you to name 5 athletes,
they're not
big name athletes between the two rosters. And again, that's just right to have an interest, a nationwide interest. You kind of have to have that, in my opinion.
Well, they didn't.
It would be interesting to look at the ratings, though. Actually.
Oh, they're the lowest, I think, probably ever. I think they're actually the lowest ever. Which is a shame because both of these teams were, they
deserve to be there. They played their way in.
They were fantastic. The Diamondbacks going and doing that to the Dodgers, good for them. But they did fall short, and ultimately...
the lowest ever. New York Times, according to the New York Times, Rangers Diamondback World Series ratings are the lowest ever.
Which is, God, that's so sad because those are two really good teams. And I guess the Diamondbacks, they just... Look, they ran into a buzzsaw. The Rangers were on a roll, and nothing was going to stop them. I really don't think anybody could have stopped them.
Yeah.
They were insanely hot at the plate.
Yeah.
Because that's a good Diamondback squad.
Good baseball. There were some blowout games. But whatever. But I know you wanted to talk about Will Smith.
Oh, yeah. First ever player to win a World Series with 3 different teams in 3 consecutive years. He won it with the Braves in 21, then he went to the Astros in 22 last year, and then this year he won it with the Rangers. So the last 2, he literally stayed in the same state with 2 different teams and won championships.
Lucky man.
That's insane.
What's on your mind, Lee, so we can get to this
that's crazy.
Jerry Gray sound?
What's on my mind?
Yeah. I can
Let's
tell you what's
see.
on mine while you think.
Oh, go ahead.
Yorgos
Go ahead.
Giacomakis, the newcomer player of the year in the MLS. Good for him. 17 goals this season. That was second best in the league for somebody who just got here. Congratulations. That's amazing. He literally, like, I remember he got his visa to play here, like, I don't know, a couple of days before the season actually started.
Yeah.
Came in seamlessly. The Five Stripes definitely needed him this season, and they'll continue to need him if he's able to stay and not move on to a bigger club. They're in the playoffs right now. I don't think they'll make it out of the first round. They lost last night to Columbus, I believe. But good for him. They need players like that. A boost.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, somebody who didn't get a boost were the Falcons. They lost Grady Jarrett, as we stated earlier in the show. Oh, what a tough loss. Dude's the heart and soul of the defense, and it's just unfortunate. But here we do. We have some Jerry Gray sound, the assistant head coach of the Falcons, and here he is talking about Grady.
Welcome back in. Emily Gagnon, Lee Smith here. We hope you enjoyed listening to Jerry Gray. Did I say that correctly?
Yep, Jerry Ray.
For some reason, I was like, Gray Jerry. I don't know why. It just
No,
happened
definitely
to
not
me.
Gray Jerry.
Any last thoughts, Lee?
Hopefully, Falcons can do something this Sunday.
Well, thank you for coming on with me. We got to thank Ellie for always coming on, keeping it real with us.
Appreciate that, Ellie.
Especially when it comes to Mizzou. I'm sure we'll have a
Yeah.
lot to talk about with her next week after
Yeah.
we actually witness the game. And with Lee after Alabama and LSU
Yeah.
play.
Oh, we got Will Levis and the Titans taking on Pittsburgh tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will holler at you later. Have a good night.
See you.